Hi everyone, we'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. My name's Flynn, I'm the host today and I am joined by the Jeremy Mura. Hey Jeremy, how you doing?
Hey Flynn, how you going, man? Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for jumping on. This is great. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk branding. We're going to talk packaging. If you're watching live, you can ask us questions as we go along. Before we started the stream today, we're both sharing our very short stints in FCMG. Am I saying that right? FCMG? I think it's
FMCG, I think.
FMCG. Yeah, it has been some time. Jeremy was like, oh, it was a while since I worked in packaging. It was 2016. I was like, yeah, it was 2006. So I've got a decade on you there.
Yeah.
I think things have changed quite a bit. But that's what we're going to be chatting about today. Probably more so the concept art, like filling your portfolio with packaging projects, how to add high quality mock-ups to your packaging, to your portfolio, show that you can do it, show that you can think about the 3D space, things like that. And we're going to be chatting about branding and everything that goes along with it. I'm really excited. This is a really fun topic for me. But Jeremy, for those who might not be familiar with you, can you give us a bit of a rundown on who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so hey guys, my name's Jeremy Mura. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I'm 28 and I've been in the design industry for like 10 years now. But yeah, I'm a brand identity and logo designer specialist. That's sort of my niche, and I'm also a content creator. So yeah, love working with different types of brands. I'm really into technology, Web3, bit of crypto stuff, just like even gaming. I'm into that. So yeah, I like all that cool stuff. And I teach designers how to get better at design. So I have courses on Skillshare, and I do have a YouTube channel if you're looking to up your skills in Illustrator and Photoshop. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely recommend Jeremy's YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. I'll drop that in chat as we're going along. But let's get stuck into it. Might share your screen. Oh, look at that. You did that perfectly. I should have given you a heads up there, but you did it really great. So it looks like you have a couple of things prepared here. Superpops. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a icicle popsicle brand packaging. So I thought of this name like Superpops. So popsicle. So I was like, oh, let's make it like friendly. Make it a bit for a younger generation, maybe for like kids or something. Just make it fun and really pop. And so like I've got some assets here as well. So what I like to do is always like come up with some text. And I just rotated my board 1 second.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what's this crazy pro tip?
Sometimes I do that by accident, but so yeah, I got some text here. I'm gonna throw that on there. I got like these QR codes and like the barcode. Got nutritional facts and sort of like this energy thing. And the really cool thing about this is like you can actually download packs from like places like FreePick and Envato elements, which I'd love to use. And so I can just pull some of these elements and just drop them in as a vector, and then I can copy paste and put it into Photoshop, as you can see here. So this just saves me a ton of time instead of creating everything from scratch. But yeah, so I've got some images here. So I downloaded some popsicles, some of these things. So I was thinking of doing, I don't know if you know like that Bulla brand, and they've got like different flavors and stuff.
Oh yeah. So Bulla, which is probably an Australian brand for those overseas. I know everyone has their own like branding and naming of things, but yeah, it's a pretty popular brand here in Australia.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, my things are gonna be all over the place. So how I got, obviously I didn't take photos of this, but obviously if you're online, what you can do is, as I was saying before, you can go to Envato. And so what I like to do is go to the 3D section, and I can just type like ice block, or popsicle, or whatever it is. So let's go ice cream. And so like even if it's not like a real brand you're working for, or like your client doesn't have like photography shots, you can come and like download some of these stuff. You can see like ice creams and stuff, which is like super cool. And so obviously we can Photoshop that, we can play around with that, get some of those. And another cool site I love to use is like, obviously, yeah, FreePick's good as well. So FreePick has some stuff, you can look at images, and then Yellow Images is really cool. So you can see on Yellow Images, there's heaps of mockups here. And so on Thursday, we'll be placing the design on a mockup to make it look really realistic. And so you can see some ice cream stuff here. And just getting these things are really high quality, and they do cost, a subscription or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's really worth it if you're creating something for your portfolio, your client sees it and it's like, wow, you know, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like a return on investment type of thing. I think like you mentioned saving time before, and when you're freelancing or you're a designer, you're a creator, especially after you've been doing it for a couple of years, you realize that like that old adage of time is money. Like it is, and it's also like really great for your mental health and taking a break. Like imagine if you could do the same amount of work in an hour that would otherwise take you 3 or 4. It's really valuable, like over time, to pick up those sorts of things and find what you find value. So like if you're a student, for example, and it's like, I don't know, $15 a month or $30 a month or something like that, you might think, oh, I don't know about that. Like, you know, that's all my pocket money, or you know what I mean? You might be working part-time or putting yourself through school and stuff. And something like that might seem like it's a bit too expensive. But once you're got paid clients and you're working and things like that, suddenly that's cheap, because it will save you so much time that it'll either allow you to take on more projects or you get things done far more efficiently. So always good to keep an eye on those things and check them out and see if they're, you know, have value to you depending on where you are in your career.
Yeah, totally agree. You know, do your research and see like what level you're at, and like obviously like your income and stuff. And when you're just starting out, it's okay to use free stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But as you start like building income as a designer, you know, put that freelance income into buying assets and building your, you know, your network of and your assets and your libraries of like brand materials and stuff. It's really going to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can see here I've got like this logo at the moment. Just playing around. I was really just customizing the text, using the anchors, you know, making it a bit different. This font is a nice one. It's called BN Pokey. Really, really cool. And so I can like start to like add my own effects and stuff. Or what I could do to save time is go to like free pick, and so I can download, you know, a text effect, and then I can, you know, use that to really save me some time. So what I would usually do is type in text effect, and I'll start to look for different, and you can see like this retro, you've got chalk, you've got like even this one's pretty cool with the pops there. That looks like a good one. And so you just want to find the right vibe. Sometimes it's more cartoony, sometimes you've got like neons. So this is one of the ways that like I like to save time and just like focus more on the concept and like adding images and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's interesting when it comes to packaging that you're showing these examples. I don't know if you searched for anything packaging specific, but these like have a lot going on. Like I would say like, you know, it's like the opposite of like Swiss design, right? Like it's popping, it's all got drop shadow, there's neons, there's all this sort of stuff. But really interestingly, like packaging that really super works in like a lot of cases, that idea of you wanting to be really loud so that people will pick it. And this is like if you're picking something up off the shelf. So it's an interesting like dichotomy between design for packaging and you know, sort of very clean design. And there's actually like a lot of reason and psychology behind it.
100%. You have to really think about like all the, you know, because you have to stand out on the shelf, right? And so one thing I learned when it comes to like packaging, especially if it's like a physical packaging thing, you need to use color blocking, and color blocking is basically having a key brand color that you use that stands out on the shelf. And so you see some brands that will go a full package of like either all black or all pink or like or yellow, whatever it is, like a bright color. And so on the shelf next to all the other products, they see that, and it's totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that advertising approach, right? Like the first thing, you know, that will often happening in like an advertising workshop might be, okay, we're creating a new brand for this field. Let's look at all the competitors' products. So like I remember going back to 2006, I remember being sent as a junior designer to go and buy one of every single like cat food product. So I went to the supermarket and I had to buy like all of the cat food, like all of the dry food, because you know, they had a client who was creating a competitor brand. And they literally put them all up in the office and got everyone to look at them and kind of walk through them. What colors are being used, what fonts are being used. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone's taken red or pink or purple. Why is that? You know, are there any opportunities in there? Like even at the very, very start, like thinking about like what's it going to look like on the shelf next to everything else. Elizabeth in chat saying, love the turquoise color. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a nice color.
I like I like blue too. It's a nice color. So my wife, I think my wife, yeah, she loves teal turquoise colors too. So I'm just adding like a bit of a drop shadow here, see what it looks like. And what I like to do as well, so I'll get my color picker and I always select the same color as the background. And so what I like to do is like sort of pull the color down into the blacks. As you can see there, and sometimes I like to bump up the hue on the left as well. So maybe I might go towards green a little bit. Press OK, and it just makes the drop shadow like blend a little better.
Right. Yeah. So it's not just like full black. It's actually like taking some of that color, so it's not as harsh, I guess. And as you said, it blends through, which I think is a really cool tip. I think when we've done some illustration streams as well, where some artists will do a similar sort of thing, because they're like, there is no black. It's not going to be it's not a black light on a colored background. It's going to be, you want it to make it look like it's part of the environment. So they would do the color picker method as well.
Yeah, 100%. And so if I just quickly, I'll just show you this. So this is the text effect I quickly downloaded, right? So I can just come in here. I don't really care about the background, really. And so I can just come in here, press the T for the type tool, come in here, and then type in the name, like Superpops. And so it's already adding those effects. So if I go to my appearance panel, so if I go to my appearance panel on the side here, you can see it's already got like all these effects, like the strokes and all that. And I can go to, let's go to type and just quickly change that. So let's go back to the font I had before. So I like really bold fonts, and so you can see that looks pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty great that like it has all the effects, but you can change the font, and you've really extended the word out. Like I would have thought it'd be much more limited than that.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have control, and then obviously at different sizes it'll look a bit different. And so if I bring this, go to here and paste it, let's see if it pastes through. Yeah, easy.
Nice.
So you can see that. And so that's like one way of just saving some time. So it's got all the effects. And if I want to like turn effects off, you can see like on the side here, I've got my appearance. Like I can turn off the warp. I can, turn off the colors there, or like whatever you want really. And you can just customize it. And so that's one kind of tip. But I don't know, what do you think? Should I use this, or should I just continue playing around with my own custom design here?
I really like your custom one. I think we roll with the custom. I think it's great to show that because even like I didn't realize that downloading an asset like that you could customize it so much. So that's super cool. But I really like what you've done. So I think we roll with we'll roll with like a sticker kind of.
It's got a sticker type of look.
It's cool. It's got nice personality to it.
All right, cool. All right, let's add some more shadows. So because that we got that red color, you can see, and then I'll bring the offset in so it's just a bit tighter, and the blur will make it a bit less. So it's all about making it pop and jump off the thing, especially if this is for like kids or something, you want to make sure that it's appealing to them,
That's it, and it's something we haven't like tackled yet. But of course, like who's the audience, right? Like you're gonna do, something for skincare might have a very different output. That's something that's aimed at kids. So always important to keep that sort of stuff in mind.
100%.
Plus, it's a good opportunity to put stuff that is for different audiences in your portfolio. So maybe we'll chat about that for a little bit. Something I see a lot with portfolios is a lot of people designing for designers, and there's really beautiful, clean, lovely artwork in there and things like that. But it tends to be fairly narrow. I think we can all of us do this. We can fall into the trap of designing for ourselves a little bit. But yeah, I think it's important to challenge yourself and, have, you can still do beautiful design. But yeah, what if it was aimed at, different demographics? I think it broadens your portfolio a bit. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, obviously you can niche down and focus on one type of you know, style or design or whatever. But yeah, it's good to like, yeah, especially when you're starting out, like go a bit broad, play around, you know, with different type of industries and clients and stuff, type of stuff, and yeah, just explore. Like, you know, you're in that stage of experimentation, but yeah, make sure the work is really good. You know, the best it can be, really.
Absolutely. And I have a question from chat from Ranjit. Thanks for the question. It's what kind of font do you use mostly?
Mostly, I'd say like TT norms. I'll show you. I got, yeah, TT norms is really good. So it's just a clean. It's got like a wide family, so you can see this. It's got like a wide range of family. I like uniform as well. This is the font I use for my Instagram stuff. So you can see it's got condensed versions. So I love using stuff like this because it's very versatile. You know what I mean? So I can like have control over that. So yeah, TT norms, uniform. What else do I like using? Yeah, I typically use like paid fonts. I got this one's a nice one, Remain Light. I've been using this on a few beauty projects, which is really nice. It's elegant. So yeah, those are a few fonts I love using. Just versatility, simple, grotesque type of like fonts, to be honest.
Nice. And it was an interesting point about the you know, broad font family as well, which is always really really useful. There's nothing worse than kind of working on a project with a font and you realize there's only about 3 different variations. It's very limited. This is cool. I like the outline that's going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it stand out a bit more. You can see it's got like 2, because I used offset path. So what I typically do, I go object and I go path offset, and that really gives me this effect. But what it does, it saves the original shape as well. So we have to go in here and like, you know, fix it up or expand it. So if I go, so usually I go object and expand appearance, and that should just like make this separate. And then I'm just gonna delete that other one, as you can see there.
Oh yeah, cool.
So now I've got that. You know, I can play around with the colors, and so if I want to add like a multiply or something, you know, I don't know, we'll see how that looks. But yeah, just trying to make it pop and stand out, really.
Nice. We have another question as well from Elizabeth. Thanks for the question, Elizabeth. Do you work with international clients?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients come from the US, but I've worked with yeah, people everywhere, Australia, Europe as well. So yeah, if it's a good fit and I like them, good personality, good project, good budget, then I'll say yes. And yeah, I don't limit myself to local. We have the internet. Why not utilize the internet to work with as many people as we can? You know.
Absolutely, and especially probably since the last 2 years, I think I may have noticed that it's, you know, working with someone that's like located in your town seems to have almost gone away in a lot of cases.
Yeah. Unless that's your brand strategy to just like focus on local and dominate all the local networking events and like become known in your little area.
Yeah.
That's definitely possible. You know, like for example, if like you're a plumber or you're like if you look at other industries like a plumber or a mechanic, if everyone knows that same guy in the area and they're really good and good quality, good price, then people keep going to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Follow-up question, since you have a lot of clients based in the US, what are some of the strengths and challenges of working with people in other time zones? Good question.
Good question. I'd say, obviously the time zones, like you'd have to work after hours. That depends. If you're the type of person that's a night owl and you work at night, it's probably fine. But I typically try and put all my calls on one day. Just so, because when you got to understand, if you constantly have different calls, different times, different days, it breaks your focus. And when you multitask, it takes like 30 minutes to get back into focus and stuff. So you want to have a schedule. But for me, yeah, I just try and book a little bit late, like early in the morning or a bit later. And I'm fine staying up to like, you know, deal with my client. That's fine. I won't stay up to like 2 a.m. That's just too much. You know, you got to sleep. So, but yeah, that's how I sort of manage it. But yeah, definitely just the time zones. But you work around it, you know?
Yep, totally. I'm in the same boat. The vast majority of my calls are with folks in the US, as we know, Adobe, US companies. So we've got a lot of teams that we work with. So it's quite funny, especially with Adobe Max coming up. Oh yeah, Adobe Max, October 20th. We should start talking about that here on the channel. Been working on that since January. Make sure you go register for that, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much good stuff happening. But yeah, it's all of our mornings are full for 6 months out of the year. Full with it's the US. I think it's the West Coast for 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's our 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning. And we usually have about 1 or 2 hours of like catch up meetings with different teams and stuff. So that's how we start our day, Wednesday through Friday.
Wow, sounds busy, man.
It's quite funny because we always come in with like lots of questions and progress updates and X, Y, and Z, and then kind of we have the meeting, and then they're done for the day, and then it's vice versa. It swaps around. So Europe I find is a little bit harder to deal with because it's quite late for us. I think the best times are around 6:30, 7 o'clock or something.
Yeah,
and, I struggle to focus that late.
Yeah, it can be a bit challenging. So I'm just trying to pull elements now, keep you guys entertained, and just trying to put it together and see how it looks. Just like using like little icons. So obviously like the ice block I showed you before has like this just a simple shape. So what I can do is just like why not use that shape and play around with it.
Yeah.
And I like to go to like path and like do envelope restore and make with warp. And sometimes I like to play around with like warping. So you can see like you can do all this cool stuff, bulge, flag, so you can always play around, or you can just use the sheet tool, be simple, and like what I do is just left click and shift, and that just makes it look a bit more fun,
Yep. And that was the shear tool.
Yep.
Was it? Yep.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah, cool. I like this. Like this is how I design stuff too. It's like playing around, like just try it in lots of different ways and see what kind of sticks. And yeah, very cool.
That's it. Yeah, you can see it looks chaotic, but at the end of the day, like that's design. Like just play around, experiment, move around. If you don't have to stick on one thing for so long,
I've got to ask, sorry to interrupt you. What was the shortcut you used to make the X go above the X height? You kind of shifted it up really quick.
Yeah, Shift Alt, and then arrow keys. See?
Up and down.
Yep.
Cool. I did not know that. That's a good one.
Man. Or you could use the touch type tool and click and like move it like that. That's another quick way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like pressing Shift X. It looks like nice.
Yes. No, that's cool. I would have like outlined it and then moved it as a separate element or something.
Yeah. There's so many different ways of doing things, especially in like Adobe and Photoshop and stuff.
There's always something new to learn.
Yep, agreed.
For those of you who are just joining us, we're here with Jeremy Mura. We're here today, and we're also back on Thursday for part 2, and we're talking all things brand design, branding, well, packaging design, I suppose, branding within packaging design, that sort of stuff. So if you've got any questions around that, throw it in chat. Any portfolio questions that you want to ask while we have Jeremy here, anything to do with design, basically, we're hanging out. You can use Behance chat or you can use YouTube chat. That's fine. I will keep an eye on both. I got something I mentioned to Jeremy that I was moving recently, and I can't remember what it was. I had to buy something from like the hardware store, and it was very strange. Like as you're adding this, like you've got the 400 mils there and how many popsicles are in it.
Yeah.
It didn't have how many of the thing was in it. It was very strange because we were trying to work out how many. It was something important. It was like bolts or nut. It was something to like mount a TV or something like that, where we actually needed to know how many were in there, and it didn't have it, which was very weird packaging.
Really?
Yeah. It's like someone just didn't put how many things are in this on the outside of the package.
Is that the question? Like, who did this? Is this like outsourced or?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
I downloaded an icon, Australia, to put it Instead of just storing text, it's good to add like little icons, little bits and bobs.
Mm.
Um,
I like that it's included Tasmania, who often gets forgotten. So
Tassie. I'm actually going to be going to Tasmania at the end of the year, actually.
Tasmania is amazing. I've only been there once.
Oh, really? Is it good?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Amazing, man. Yeah. I'm excited. It's really fun.
It's very good whiskey if you're into whiskey.
Oh, yeah, I like whiskey. My dad's big on whiskey, so I think, yeah. That's cool. I want to check out Cradle Mountain. I heard that's pretty cool.
Mm. That was cool, like a quick, outline look, and then you've just kind of knocked out the back so that it fits. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check a little square, and then to fit the text instead of trying to I could do it like this and fit the text in. That's another way of doing it as well.
Mm.
So it just depends what you like. And maybe that might look better in all caps. I'll go type uppercase and see what that looks like. Make it bold, center it. That's always something really cool to play with.
Mm. Yeah, it's Elizabeth in chat. I like the overlap. I think it's more readable at a distance. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like the balance between legibility and design aesthetic is always an interesting balance to try to find. I agree. So if it's something like a barcode, right? It has to be very legible. If it's the name, it has to be super legible and stuff.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's another thing because it's this is all small sizes, so.
Mm.
That's why I first always think of hierarchy, legibility, and then creativity is sort of a bit on the secondary, But
then there's some stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be, super legible as well. Although my design teacher would kill me if they heard me say that. They always said, don't put any text anywhere that you don't want people to be able to read.
Yeah, chuck at the back, very small 5 points.
Yeah. I still do it sometimes. Shh.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
That's all right.
I wonder where these QR codes go. I wonder if someone watching the YouTube replay wants to pause it and see where they go.
Oh yeah, you guys don't test it, please.
I'm not going to do it on stream. You never know. If I was a designer, I'd make it go to my website just as default.
Yeah, actually, some guy actually did that. I saw some guy on Twitter. He said that he went to a restaurant and he stuck these QR code on the tables, and he went to his web portfolio.
So is that instead of the ordering things or something?
Yeah,
so it just goes.
People order at restaurants. Yep. He was just sabotaging, just going to different restaurants and putting his thing on it, and then
guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, basically, spot on. So it's kind of funny. You gotta try things, But yeah, just you don't want to hurt people's businesses there in the process.
Yeah.
Multiply red, adding a bit of an inner glow there. See what that looks like. I think I just broke it. Oh, there you go. Sometimes Illustrator glitches, as you can see. And just kind of clean the intersection up because I don't want those shapes. You always got to think about shapes. I think sometimes it can mess you up.
Mm.
So what if I go like this? I think this might look.
Elizabeth saying, I think I've seen some resumes designed like they were product designs. For example, an application for Discord that looks like the Discord interface. Yeah, I think that's really cool. If you have those skills, to mock something up like that. I'm trying to think of examples, but I've seen similar things, and I think it can be super cool. there was a bit of a trend that went around for a while of people creating apps, and it was their portfolio, but it was very difficult, I think, to get in the hands of new clients or potential people, because you're actually asking them to download an app on their phone before you can see their portfolio. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that trend went away. This is back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta find the balance, right? You can go really creative and go crazy with it, but you know, sometimes it has a negative effect instead of a positive one.
Yeah.
But you are a designer, like they want to see like your creativity and like your stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I remember around like advertising, I remember hearing a story when we were doing some workshops and stuff. And we had someone from an advertising agency there talking about, you know, the sort of crazy things that people do to try to get into advertising, because they want to show that they're, you know, this creative maven, and, you know, they would do these crazy stunts to get noticed by the creative directors. And I remember him saying, please don't do that. It's like saying, please don't do that. Like, there's no way. You'll get blacklisted from me for sure. So yeah, but other people, maybe they would really like the creativity and the initiative and stuff. I won't tell you what they did, but it was something that they said would be very annoying to them. Elizabeth saying is, driving instructor who was also a piano teacher, and his business card folded into a piano.
Oh wow, nice.
That is very cool. I had an Illustrator friend who, he was an illustrator and designer, and he just got like a giant A0 card and drew like this giant artwork on it. Yeah. And then scored it and cut them all up into his business cards.
Yeah.
And then hand drew like everything. So each one of his business cards was all handmade. Yeah. And all part of this like bigger artwork, and there was only 50 business cards or something. Yeah. And it just gave him like not only was it really cool, but it was like a unique card, right? Like, so it's like, this is the only one that exists. It kind of broke the ice really, really well. Yeah. And it's like, oh, if you go on the website, you can see the rest of the artwork. So I was like, hey, like, go home and, you know, go to my website as well. Yeah. I thought that was like super effective, and it gave him something to talk about instead of being like, hey, here's my website, hire me, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's something different. I like that, you know. Challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this starburst. New
flavor. Yeah, I'm just trying to add, make it fun, make it interesting, and obviously trying to make it real, right? Trying to make it realistic. You know, we see stuff in the shop, so you want to make it pop. But yeah, I'm just coming up with all these ideas like now, like on the fly, most of it. Had a little bit of thinking about it, but yeah, obviously spend more time and you can really get into the concepts and like all that stuff. But sometimes when you have a smaller client, you just want to keep it simple, like, you know, and just make it fun. And
yeah. It's interesting with the new, like, as I'm sure Australian laws are different to everywhere else in the world, but they're really strict here. Like, made in Australia, like, you have to be able to prove that. I think
like a certified thing, right?
Yeah. Even using the map of Australia, technically, you need to have permission to do.
Oh wow.
The other one is the new. This may have changed in the many years since I was involved, but it needs to be, something needs to have substantially changed within the product, or it has to be a new product. And you can only use the new for like a certain amount of time. My mind is telling me that it was 6 months. Before, you can't just say it's new. Like, you can't say like this, you know, chocolate that's been around for 20 years is new. It has to have something changed within it.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing with packaging. Like, there's obviously a lot of laws, and like, you got to check the FDA. If you're in America, you got to check the FDA for certain things, and like, that's why you got to have like the nutritional information, and like all that other stuff. And sometimes your client doesn't even know like that stuff. So you got to tell them like, hey, you got to be careful, and you know what I mean. So that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, I have a suggestion with the new. Could you make it one of the less spiky ones and more bubbly, therefore friendly?
Yeah,
You don't have to do that, but I think that's an interesting point. Yeah, if it's for kids, maybe there's a lot of softer ones there.
Yeah, the brown ones. I was thinking, I did have that in my mind, but I was like, oh, let's try this one out. Let's see some different ones. All right, we'll try this one. Puffy cloud.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Yeah. It's like a flower. And that's another thing when it comes to branding, like the way you use shapes to communicate. You know, like sharp can mean danger. Proper means friendly. Round shapes can mean unity and connectedness. Yeah, there's so many different things like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's without even getting into the psychology of color, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Different regions. Packaging is always a really funny one. Like if you go to another country and like I remember like, you know, the chip packets are different. Like what would be original here will be a different color somewhere else. And I remember it being like, what? This is crazy. Chicken chips aren't green packaging.
Yeah, because we're so used to it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with culture, you know? Yeah, we get stuck in the same type of thing. I'm just gonna look for a quick Apple icon. That one's fine. How are we doing for time?
How are we doing for time? Good question. I always have to do a bit of math. Like 15 minutes, I think, for today. Something like that.
All right, cool. I don't like when they mix up all the files. Wait, that's not an apple. That's like a pumpkin. Yeah, I'm trying to communicate like the fruit juice, trying to make it interesting. Like
Right.
once using like their silhouettes.
So with the assets, because I noticed that for us, you're like designing on the fly, right? You're going through, you're checking kind of the website for an icon, save from drawing it, and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you typically like save these, you know, assets because you found one, or do you just delete them when you're done with the project and then, you know, start fresh? Or like,
I
you save them.
Yeah, I saved them to my library. So you can see I've got like a design library. So I've got like vectors, icons, illustrations. To be honest, I won't save all of it. Only the stuff that I feel like I can use again for another project.
Right.
So I'm a bit picky. But if some of these icon packs, I'll probably just chuck it in my icon, you know, thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have so many, right? Like it might be easier just to search it through their database than it would be to try to find it on your computer and open everything up without the preview or.
Yeah, exactly. So that can take like a lot of time. Let's see if I can try and make it better. I don't know, something like that.
I was just having a quick little look around to see like what are on the outside of like ice cream things for you, and we could have the flavor.
On the the flavors, the flavor names.
Yeah, you could have like the flavors written somewhere as well. I don't know if you're looking for more things to
Yeah.
include, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah. Berry, pineapple, and green apple. Mm. Mm. So many things I can do with it. It's different when you're streaming. You got pressure on you.
You got a time limit. You got an audience. Yeah, it always is.
It always is. I don't know. Let's just play around with this. Obviously legibility, so don't mention it. I gotta figure out where to put it. I think we got the main thing. I want to cut these out.
So they already PNGs or?
Yeah, so
Cool.
Super easy to use. They're already transparent, and so obviously I need to see this shadow. I got to fix that.
Right.
Obviously I probably won't. I can fix it up after the stream, and on Thursday we can have plenty of time to do the mock-up and stuff. So for example, one quick tip in Photoshop is I'll just usually go select and go to subject.
Mm-hmm.
And then it should automatically make selection, which is great. And sometimes you can see like it doesn't really get the inner pixels, and what you can do is go to select, modify, and you can actually contract it. So if I zoom in, I'll show you this. You go select, modify, contract, then we can go like 3 pixels, and you can see it brings it in a little bit.
Right. So in some cases when you've got you're selecting the subject, because you don't want any kind of outline, you'd rather cut in a tiny little bit by a couple of pixels.
Yeah.
And lose a tiny little bit of the edge, but it's actually going to make it crisper, like cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one little trick. Like 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel should be enough, and just makes it a lot cleaner. And so now there's no shadows with this one. And so what I can do is just Control Shift Alt X. I'll save this as just a PNG. And so I can go back to Illustrator now. I'll go to downloads and now drop this, and now you can see it's just like that.
Nice. Command Shift Alt X, was it?
Yeah, I made a shortcut. So export for PNG.
Is that come as like normal, or did you create that
No,
yourself?
I have to customize it. Yeah. So
that's cool. I think
X. It's an easy one to remember.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
So then it's super easy just to like quickly drop something in here. Then I'll press F8 with my shortcut. I can do a drop shadow. So I'll go multiply. We'll select the blue color and add a blur. And then now you can see, like I've got a drop shadow now, and I can just use this as a normal image, like do whatever I want with it or whatever, But yeah, I'll be playing around with Photoshop mainly to make it more like not just with this packaging and stuff, but we have like the base sort of foundation here. I can spend time playing around and like even adding maybe like a texture or a pattern, like halftone or something like that.
That's cool. That's a really great tip, because I definitely get that quite a lot. Like select subject is always a really good starting point as well. But you'll often need to kind of jump in and make sure that it's exactly what you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good tip.
Yeah, awesome.
I think last time we did a stream, I think you mentioned creating your own shortcuts for, I think it was in Illustrator, and I went back to the stream and copied exactly what you did. I made like F1 and F2
Oh, wow.
something. I can't remember what it is because I haven't used it yet. But I was like, damn, that's really cool. I really need to up my shortcut game.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it makes a difference. Like it's just it's worth it, you know. Anything that saves you time is like worth it.
That's it.
Just gonna delete the layer mask. Control click, make a selection, then make another layer, and then so I just got to turn these into like I got to rasterize them. So rasterize, I think, or merge. I think I'll just leave it for now. Flatten image, usually. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Because sometimes it doesn't get rid of the mask. All right, so I've got this. Now I want to go to Envato, and what I like to do is go to photos. Also, FreePic has pretty good photos too. So if I go like, I'll go strawberries. Actually, raspberry. Hopefully this like gives people ideas and stuff like that. So in Envato, you can click isolated, and so then it will give me isolated images like this.
Right.
Same thing for FreePic, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can sort of click premium and then no people, and so like you can see like they have a lot of stuff here. So like this is really cool. Like that's nice. You just gotta be careful. Sometimes they're vectors and they're not real. And
right.
So,
is that like when it's a JPEG with like a transparent background built in? It's not actually a PNG. It's like
yeah. Or it's actually like being vectorized in like Illustrator or something, and so makes it a bit like it doesn't look realistic. It just depends on like the vibe you're going for, right? So, and then so what I'll do is just cut these out and then just start like placing things around and make it look really interesting. So I'll cut the mask out and then use the other tool. And then I'm just like getting rid of the stuff that I don't want. Make sure you're on the mask. And then so if I were just to do like one flavor like this, you know, I can play around and like really cool.
That's great. It's like a really quick way to add like depth and texture. Like,
yeah, totally. It makes it like a big difference. Just scale this down a little bit. And you can like spend a lot of time and make it pop, and then we can add textures and like stuff like that. Okay, cool. And I like to add a bit of like a drop shadow. But I won't add it to the whole thing. So if you want to make it realistic, what you'll do, oh, my mouse is low battery. I'm not gonna reach for it now. So what you can do, a cool trick as well, go select, we'll go subject. And then I'm gonna press Control-Shift-I, which inverts the selection. So then I'll make a new layer in Photoshop. I'll press B for the brush tool. Okay, then I'll select like, I'll just hold Alt, select like a dark, bottom of like a dark raspberry color on that. And so what I can do is like paint, but I'm gonna go to make a soft brush. Shift X to flip the fill. gonna go multiply, and then so you can see if I paint like that, it doesn't paint in the ice cream. It's just like painting here.
So just like manually adding a little bit of shadow to separate it from the shape below it. Yeah, that's cool.
Correct. It just adds a layer of depth, really.
That's interesting. So selection had selected the top of the popsicle, but not the stick.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was like, what's going on? So you can see there, and I can always like blur it a bit. So if I want to go like filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Oops, sorry, wrong layer. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. You can pump that up just to make it a little bit softer if you want. Or drop the opacity. Let's go like 80% or something. And so it looks. So you can see it without it, and then when you add that, it adds so much more depth.
That's cool.
That's like one little trick that I would do. And then, you know, once you start packing on layers and like lighting effects, or if you want to add like, you know, maybe there's like water dripping off it or whatever, like it can start to get really, really cool. And sometimes as well, like you get like these little parts here that didn't get cut out properly. So sometimes you got to go and, you know, just paint them out or cut them out.
Right.
That's another thing to keep in mind. So you got to always check your files, you know.
That's cool. We've got a few minutes left. So what are we? We've got about 2 to 3 minutes left.
Okay, cool. Gotta save these files. You never know. Sometimes Adobe crashes. I love Adobe, but just some days it just doesn't always work properly.
Make sure you save your work.
Yeah, save your work, guys. I'm gonna look for like a sunburst.
Elizabeth saying you could totally animate this for a social media post.
Oh yeah, totally. That would be amazing.
Be nice, like floating, like kind of having them floating there or something like that.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
It's so funny that you should mention that, Elizabeth, because I was just thinking when you had the packaging that I've never seen anyone like animate stuff for packaging. I know it's stupid, like it doesn't make any sense because why would you do that? But you could like do a really realistic mock-up and then like skew it at an angle so it was almost like animated packaging. I don't know. There's something fun about that idea.
Yeah, you just gotta save everything separate layers and stuff, and then yeah, make the main product move, I guess. You know, in a cool way.
Well, we don't have quite as much time as I thought. We've probably got about a minute left today, Jeremy.
All right. Okay, no worries.
So I'll mention just a couple of things as we're wrapping up. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been great hanging out. We will be back on Thursday with Jeremy, so that's in 2 days. Yeah, we're going to move on to, we're going to take this or a version of this, depending if Jeremy feels the need to make changes. But I think it's great, so I'm not trying to give you homework.
Okay.
But we can pick up where we left off and talk and show a little bit about how to take something like this and mock it up to make it look 3D, to make it look realistic, take things to the next level for packaging design for your portfolio, Instagram, whatever you want. And we'll go through that process. Lots of tips in this session, and I'm sure there'll be lots of tips on Thursday as well. So yeah, this looks super cool. Superpops, all done live. Love it.
I want to do some work on it, and then on Thursday, yeah, we'll make it come to life.
That's really super cool. I love it. I love this. I love this thing, and I think the font was the right choice. I really like the Superpops. I think it's super cool.
Nice and puffy.
Super cool. Yeah.
Super.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Really appreciate your time, and I'll see you on Thursday, and I'll see you all on Thursday as well.
Cool. See you guys then.
All right. See you later.